How are you guys? How's your life going today? Tell me where you're coming from. I'm gonna tune very quickly. I'm gonna play my Rich Allen. Tell you okay. All right. What a wild week it's been. I broke my camera, so that's exciting. Not all the way broke it, but I broke the HDMI port, so I had to buy a web camera today, and then I spent like 15 minutes, 20 minutes goofing with it trying to get it right. So anyway, hello everybody. Mr. Sam Vecchio's here. Hello, fellow guitar hunters. Yes, there's a great community of guitar hunters. So, well, okay. Oh man, Daniel just coming in strong. What is the meaning of a well-lived guitar life? We'll come back to that. Daniel is here. Mr. Morgan's here. Is this the Krusty Krab? I wish this was the Krusty Krab. Krabby Jack's is the best po' boy you can eat in New Orleans. Oh boy, that's not totally true. Cafe Maspero, no, Cafe Maspero is good. Anyway, I'll come back. We're gonna come back and do some questions. Hey, Jeremy, could you tell me how vintage instruments are priced? How's a guitar look like it's been run through the ringer and still go for $20,000? Cool. Well, yeah. Let me Carjackadelphia. Coming from Carjackadelphia. Flipadelphia. Central Texas here. St. Louis coming in. How about it, buddy? That's good. I like how about it. Thumbs up, folks. Yeah. I still love How's Your Mom and Them. That's like one of my favorite Louisiana things. I miss Louisiana so much. We got to spend a little bit of time there maybe 3 weeks ago. Got to be with family and friends and got to be back in Louisiana, and it was so nice and wonderful, and the weather was great. And then came back, and it's cold and gray up here in Virginia. So anyway, hello from Iowa. Mr. Pat O'Reilly's here. Or Pat Riley. Pat Riley came by the guitar shop. I met him last summer. And a bunch of people have come by. Somebody came by today. Jason, right? Jason from Troutville, Virginia came by today. Darcel, thank you. Hello. Hi from upstate New York. Yeah, life is good. Guitar stuff this week. I've listed a bunch of stuff for sale. If you are a patron or channel member on the mailing list, you saw an email about a week ago with some guitars for sale. And I just looked around and I owned 40 couple guitars. And so it's time to spread out some stuff. I also want to recoup a lot of the money that we put into Guitar Hunter to get it started ended up getting parked in guitars. And the point of that money was to grow the Guitar Hunter business, the Guitar Hunter world. And so I want to get out. I want to do some traveling. I want to go to some guitar shops. I want to see some guitar builders. And so that's where we're headed over the next year. So if you saw some stuff coming out, that's why stuff is going up for sale. I also have a guitar coming. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. Hey, fellas. Honey Picks is here. I've got some Honey Picks. Oh, boy. As I spill my coffee, I've got some Honey Picks in here somewhere. Oh, boy. What do I whip that up with? Hey! Pay no mind. Oh, you can't see. You don't even know that I'm cleaning up this with an old sock from yesterday that I took off after I went to the gym. So, just living. You know, this is that influencer YouTuber life before your very eyes. But yeah, Honey Picks. I love Honey Picks. So fun, cool brand, cool design, and just really great dudes. So, yeah. All right. The red code says, hey, Jeremy, just tuned in. Thanks so much for your content. It's really one of those little joys in my life. Greetings from Germany. Thank you. That means so much. It's shocking to me. People around the world watch this. So, the plan for today was I was going to talk about rookie moves when you're buying and selling guitars. And then a lot of stuff happened at the guitar shop today at Hometown Music that is exciting, but took up a lot of time. It took up the brain space that I would have used to actually write out all of those. And then in addition to that, I broke my camera. And so my camera works as a camera, but the HDMI port out that I used to connect to my computer broke. And I borrowed a ridiculously expensive fancy camera from my friend Chris, and that one still doesn't quite do what I need it to do. So I bought a good streaming camera. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But still doesn't quite look like a camera, but we're doing the best we can do. So that's why things that we're gonna change up the title from last week. So with all that said, we're just going to hang out, and this is just a bunch of friends hanging out on a Friday afternoon asking guitar questions. But there is a reality in which I have owned more guitars than most anybody, and I'm not coming at this from a place of arrogance, but I am coming at it from a place of experience and authority, and but I also definitely don't know everything. There are many, many, many things that I don't know. Most things about Gibson guitars I don't know. Like, I know some. I know more of the acoustic side. But yeah, I was talking to Zach Broyles this morning from Mythos Pedals, and I love that dude. He's just like one of the best, most stand-up dudes in the guitar world. And yeah, and we were just talking about he just put out a video in the last little bit, maybe yesterday or recently. He has a 55, and he has some throwback pickups. So he's a 55 gold top that he was able to put like the original, like the precursor to PAFs, the original Seth Lover pickup. So, all right. Yeah. So let's start off with a really fun question. Sam asked a great question. So for me, here's my AMA question. If money was no object, what acoustic guitar would you buy? Man, I would say, like, if money was no object, I would buy probably an Olson SJ, like a handmade guitar from Jim Olson. Behind that, I would really be tempted to own a guitar from Gage Howland, to own one of the Howland acoustic guitars. I also, money's no object, D45, like a Martin D45. I just can't. One day I'll get there. But yeah, that's a great question. That's a question I get asked a lot, and I don't get to talk about it too much. Hello, greetings from Argentina. Hello, one of my best friends in high school was from Argentina. He was from San Martin de los Andes. He's the man. Jorge, if you're out there, he doesn't watch this. Jorge's a genius mathematician off somewhere. I think he's in Ireland now. He's like it's one of those like levels of math that's so smart it's insulting. Even it's like basic math or simple math. It's one of those phrases where you're like, fine. Yeah, got it. You're way smarter. Anyway, Jorge, you're the man. Love you, buddy. Thoughts on Atkin guitars? I really enjoy Atkin guitars. I would really like to feature them on the channel. We've done one. My friend Sam Copeland had a D37, or was it a J43? He had like a Gibson-y, slope shoulder-y thing. And I really like them. Overall, my impression at first when I saw them was like, oh, these are high-quality replica guitars for a European market that didn't get those guitars. So when I say that, they're not overly exciting to American guitar players because we've seen these around, or at least bad representations of these, or modern Gibson reissues. But I feel like I get it, and they're starting to do a really cool thing. They're starting to bring out their own interpretation into those guitars rather than just straight replication. So I think it's always better to interpret rather than imitate. And so I like Atkin guitars a lot. Bulldogger JK has just bought an Atkin D37, the best guitar I've ever played. Man, how good is that? When you get a guitar that's like the best you've ever played and you get to own it, you don't have to just like sit in the guitar shop and wish you could own it. That's so good. So ask me anything. What bridge pin material do you prefer on an OM style Sitka spruce top, mahogany back and sides guitar, ebony, bone, or brass? I think ebony has a really great effect on guitars, especially smaller bodies that don't have as much low end and bass. Ebony pins really ground it and seem to give it a lot of like warmth and low end and this like low end ambience that you can just kind of feel in this force field of low end and bass around a guitar. So for me, that's what I would do. But with that said, I also really love Waverly does exceptionally good bridge pins. Stu Mack sells them. They're not that expensive. They're like what is happening? Hello? Hello? Oh, it's my mic cable. That's not good. Oh, gosh. How long did I talk? Hey. Hi. It's been a while. I gave the best advice I've ever given. So, thanks for watching. I'm Jeremy. See you later. Gosh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How long was that? I can go back. Okay, haven't heard you. Okay. All right, I will keep an eye over there. Yeah, I should. Okay, I saw Jose's comment. I definitely should. Oh, this is so annoying. I'm sorry. You probably lost a chunk of you. Yeah, Jose. Jose knows. No audio. Rule 101 in broadcasting. Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay, Corey, I'm here. All right. Guys, I was giving it. I was just... just... It was silent. You couldn't even hear anything. I'm sorry. Okay. Last thing you heard was before the classical guitar comment. No, it wasn't that bad. It was 5 minutes or so. I'm sorry. JD, glad you're here, man. Okay, we'll need that last 5 minutes. Okay, I was talking about, I was talking about classical guitars. Almost everything about them is different. I'll run back here through some comments. Yeah, that's good. It was all silence. That's why. Yeah, I just couldn't do it. Yeah, every time I do a live show, and we're like, this is episode 136. Every single one, there's something that has just been annoying that hasn't worked right or something like that. So, okay. Sorry. Jeremy, there's no audio. You guys tried to tell me for so long, and I just wasn't looking at the chat. Look at the chat. I see it now that I'm looking at the chat. Sorry, Roger. Okay. All right. I'm just going to jump back in. Okay. Here's what it was. Okay. I was talking about, the DM, okay, Martins typically sell either for much more money or much less money in continental Europe. I've had a couple people ask me to help them sell guitars in Germany and Austria, one person in the Czech Republic. Mixed results. Some people paid too much, some people paid too little. 2009 DMs have kind of a cult following. They are a solid top, laminate back and sides. They are basically what the Rhodes series, like the D10, would be now. They're fun guitars. I mean, if it's here in the States, it would not be a ton of money. 800, 600, 800, maybe $1,000 on the max. So, okay, I'm going to come back down here. Trying to get his attention. Sorry. Okay. You're calling him. Sorry, my phone was on Do Not Disturb. There it is. Look. Daniel did try. Sorry. Hey, there's a video from KDH. Good. Wonder who's getting their life blown up today. All right. Let's see. On the road again. Says, hey, Jeremy, how much would you pay for a Corona-made Guild X150 Savoy? I'm looking at becoming a guitar dealer, too. What percentage profit do you have to make on a guitar? Thanks in advance. Man, two great questions. Maybe three. Okay, so... how much would I pay for a Guild X150? I don't know. I'd have to look up and see what they're going for. I usually kind of split the difference between 2 or 3 places. I will look for eBay complete. No, sorry. I'll start with the most priority. I'll start with the Vintage Guitar Price Guide. I'll look in the book. That's kind of a 15-year average of what those should be. Behind that, I then flip through and I would look for... I'd go to the Reverb Price Guide. Look, because they now you can see 2 years of transactions on those, and that gives you kind of a window. I like that. And then the third place I look for eBay completed listings. Kind of take that. I figure it out. I typically go for 50% or 60% is what I would offer if I'm like buying them wholesale. Generally speaking, guitar shops, they need to make 30 to 35%. And they are not bad if they do that. Now, to get there, they can't start at offering you 35 off because then you're going to split it and you get to like 20%. So I would say for most people, you need to get, most shops need to be at 40% or so. And that's not them being the worst. There it is. Okay. So you want to become a guitar dealer. Well, there's an age-old trope that is so annoying, and every boomer guitar shop owner will tell you the same dumb joke. They will say, well, you know how you make $1 million in the guitar business? Start with $2 million. The thing is, most of these shops, if you refuse to change, you're going to get lost. You're going to lose your business. So, I would say that's a big one. That's a big one for sure, is just refusing to change. Anyway, sorry. All right. You're muted, dog. All right, I'm back. Okay, I think I've caught up on questions. I'm going to jump back in here. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm back. I'm not apologizing anymore. Back again, mate in London. Steve, glad you're here. Yeah, KDH. That dude is, I like him. I also think that he is running out of people to torch. And, man, if you don't know, KDH is a mostly electric guitar channel. And he does these, like, he just tries to cancel people largely. And, like, it's, like, under the, he says it's consumer advocacy, but I don't know. It doesn't feel good. It feels very predatory. Anyway, so it's I made a joke a while ago. It was like probably my worst performing Instagram reel, just because it's such a niche joke. But I made the joke like whenever, it's Tom Cruise running, and it's whenever somebody gets an email from KDH saying that I'm going to do a video about your guitar brand. You're like, no, I'm out of here. All right. Corey says, ask me anything. Last week you mentioned Boucher's pickguard would be the only thing you'd change on my OM. If you had a Boucher OM, what kind of pickguard would you put on and why? I would put a Holter pickguards, and I would do something just like beautiful and round. So OMs to me, what I didn't like about the Boucher is that it's just like, it's the teardrop shape on the top half and then the bottom half of a triple O pickguard. So it's too long in the middle. It's like they just like chopped the two together, and it just is too long vertically. I would have one that is really that teardrop shape. This is a great question. So how do you get started in selling guitars, and how long did it take to figure out what you were doing? I got started selling guitars. I had done a little bit like onesie twosie buying guitars when I was in high school. Right in my freshman year of college, I was working at James Madison University in the dining hall. I was washing dishes, and so as I was washing dishes, one day I came into a guitar shop, and the guy that owned the shop there had a Martin D45 on the wall. He's like, hey, Jeremy, good to see you. How are you? Hey, come over here. Tell me, what do you know about this guitar? And he asked me, and I just knew like about this D45, and he was like, it's like, wow, that's great. You want to come work for me? And so at that point I was like, yes, I will quit my job today. So I went and I quit the dishwashing job and came and started the next day. And so I worked full time. I went full time in, September of 2005. And I worked basically full time until 2010. I went back to school for a year and a half full time, and I wasn't working in the guitar shop. Then I came back for like 7 months or something full time. And so I would say if you're buying and selling guitars, I would start affordable and start things that are like very generic and broad. For me, it used to be, when people would ask me that question, I would say, buy and sell Mexican Strats and Tellys, buy and sell Fender Hot Rods, Epiphone G400s, and Les Paul Standards and Customs. Like that's the easy ones you can find where it's like, oh, well, somebody's selling it for $300 and it has a pickup swapped, and you can put the original pickup back in, you can set it up, you can clean it up, take good pictures, and get it back out and sold. So that's what I would do. Looking at a 62 Telly custom reissue, which will be a player, is the price difference between USA and Japanese worth it in your opinion? It is absolutely worth it in resale value. If you want residual value, now the Japanese stuff has always had a good following. It now has a much better following. And so it's coming up. I think we're on a general long trajectory up on the value of both made in Japan and crafted in Japan instruments. But if it were me, I would head towards an American made. But there's probably a noticeable jump in the price there. How much would you, hey Jeremy, how much would you be willing to pay for a D18 Golden Era 1995 like new condition? Those have gone up pretty big. They're still dorky. What they were going for and what they were able to deliver never quite lined up. It's a good reissue, but it still feels like a reissue. It doesn't feel like, I think they finally nailed it with the Authentics, where it's like, hey, let's make it let's just make them like that. Like, let's just do it, like, not unapologetically make them cool and old. So yeah. So what would you be willing to pay for a D18 Golden Era? For me personally, I would only be wanting to put in $2,500 to $3,000 into one, hoping that it would be worth $3,500 or so. The problem is so many of those guitars have been replaced by better reissues in the last couple of years. So now there's so much competition for it. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, KDH. I'm with you. I like and watch KDH, but he's a serious shit disturber. No one cares about the topics until he wants to light a fire under. Yeah, I mean, he'll aim after brands. I didn't realize how big of it. I didn't realize how consequential he was, and I don't think he's that. I think he's just now getting to where. Anyway, I didn't know he played guitar until very recently. Like, I assumed he played guitar, and I've still never seen him play guitar. But I just assumed he was just like a keyboard warrior. And looking for controversy. And I didn't realize that he'd had good effect at actually hurting people's feelings until the last little bit, when I interviewed Rob Chapman 2 years ago or so. And Rob, it was like, it really affected Chapman guitars, really affected their reputation, and affected Rob personally. And anyway, there's a lot to it. So Gio says, hey, Jeremy, Gio here. You mentioned that your top guitar would be a James Olson or a Martin D45 if money was not a limit. What about the McPherson? Why are they not in your top tiers? I don't like the sound holes on them. I don't like the floating fingerboards. But with that said, I've only played maybe 8 or 10 McPhersons in my life. They're just not my, like, I think people now, because there's so many people in the praise and worship world playing those, that there's now enough of a cult following, but I don't know enough. Like, I have no guitar heroes in my mind playing McPhersons that I can think of. Now, okay, I can tease apart that question because there's two of them. There's two parts of it. What new guitar would I buy if money was no issue? And with that, there are some really ridiculous and exciting things. And if it was an electric guitar, because my default is acoustic guitars. But yeah, I think that answers the first part of it, the McPherson part. But if I were to say any guitar vintage, I would for sure say that I would want an old D45. And then new electrics, the Soap guitars are incredibly exciting to me. I want a Frank Brothers. If I could pick out, that's for electric guitars. Number one would be a Frank Brothers. I just think those dudes are doing such good work. There you go. So I think I answered that. Would you buy an acoustic for yourself without playing it? It amazes me so many people do. Do a lot of people return them? It's an interesting thing I hear a lot. Like, I could never buy a guitar from somewhere online and not play it first. It's just a generation gap. Like, for me, I have almost no hang-ups buying a guitar because I have played so many guitars. I know what guitars sound like. The problem is acoustic guitars, if they don't sound good, there's not a whole lot you can do to change it. If you get an electric guitar, I could buy an electric guitar sight unseen and like unheard, and it would be no issue because basically, like, if I don't like it, I can change it. If I don't like how it plays, I can do a whole lot to an electric guitar to change it. Which guitar have you owned the longest? As I look around the room, I've owned this guitar. This is my original, it says Fender, but it's actually a Squier. This is my Squier Tom DeLonge, and I've owned this guitar since the summer, maybe the fall of 2002 or 3. Somewhere in there, 2002 or 2003. So I've owned this guitar 20 years. And I've owned that one a long, long time. Behind that, I've owned my pink Paisley. Back here. I've owned this one for 10 years now. It's my pink Paisley Telecaster. And behind that, I had a guitar apocalypse. I had started a business, was self-employed, worked hard, got paid little when I first was married, and so it was a big deal that I sold everything. So the guitars I sold years ago, there were two that I wanted to have for the rest of my life, and it just didn't work out. Which one was a 61 Gibson J50. The other was a 2011 or 2012 Martin D35. And that was one that was a gift. I paid for it, but it was a gift from Warren at the Guitar and Amp Center. And so, yeah, those two guitars I would have owned forever. And I'd owned them both like 5 years for the one of them. And then the other one, I think I sold in like 14 or 15. And then the other one, I had the J50 for years, 6 or 7 years. Rasmus is here. Hey, buddy. David is here. Hello. Yeah, so we ended up changing the plan, and you missed Silence of the Shepherds. Well, yeah. It happens. So it does mean, I wonder if it's this microphone or this cable, something. Yeah. You've owned that Squier Fender a long time. I don't mind playing new guitars online, but I want my hands on before buying anything used. Yeah, I mean, at this point, kind of like if you watch Tavarish, one of the car YouTubers, he sells these shirts that I love, which is I am the warranty. And so, like, for me, I'm like, you don't need a guitar warranty. Like, you just need a good repair person, or you need to figure out how to fix stuff. And so, yeah. So, for me, that's a big one. I'm drinking black tea, and it, like, reminds me of the good old days of, were they good old days? Of, like, first starting this YouTube channel. So, I think we started in 2020. I started the live show during Lent. And I know it was during Lent because I'd given up coffee. And so I was drinking black tea. And so I'm drinking black tea today, and it's just hanging out with you guys. And there are names here that were there then 3 years ago, 130 some episodes back. So, yeah. Yes. Okay. Let's talk about this. So, did you see the announcement from Martin about a new era of guitars? They are unveiling it at NAMM. I literally know nothing about this. I know the exact same amount that none of us do. So I kind of want, I'm going to text some people. I'm going to see. I just said, hey, what's the secret guitar coming in January? I doubt they'll let me know. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'll pull out the B25. Is it in tune? It's in Dadget. Of course it is. My guitar playing has gotten way worse, I think. All right, I got nothing. My guitar playing is subpar these days. I'm sorry. Oh boy. Why did I mess with it? I should just listen to Daniel and not change things once they're up. So this is a 68 B25, super cool guitar, no cracks, and Yeah. The double guard has seemed to be pretty off-putting for a lot of people. A lot of people have been like, nah, I don't like that guitar. And lots of people were like, it's a lefty, and people swapped it over. I'm like, there's a saddle. Like, there's a saddle going the other way. All right, Tom's got a great question. Tom says, thank goodness it's Friday. What were the best Black Friday deals you saw? Mine was the Fender $500 Player Tele Acoustasonic. Man, that's a great deal. Those are so fun. I still wish I owned one. I have one on the Highway series. I like it a lot. I think those are fun. The best Black Friday deals I saw, probably the Acoustic Shop. They had some, what was it? They had the Eastman E100SS, which is like an L00, tiny little burst, beautiful guitar. Let's see, they had those for $499, $479. I mean, it's a $600 guitar, so it's not as substantial as like $999 or $1099 for the Acoustasonic Player, and then it comes down. But to me, that's the best guitar under $1,000 from Eastman. To me, is the L00s, the 00 SS. So yeah, what else did you guys see? I'm gonna put this back. Let's see. Thanks, Tom. Did you ever play a Day On? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I have not. Yeah, I played that cool old B25. I did. Oh, I didn't play it very well because I'm in my head about playing these days because I'm like stuck on like, well, I play all the same things. When a camera and lights are on, I just play the same things I know. If I'm playing guitar anywhere else, I have a whole other host of music that I play, and I'm trying to just decompartmentalize my mind and guitar playing. I also think it's part of the YouTube stuff. Like when you're playing, I mean, you're doing all these things at the same time. You're thinking about what you're saying. You are saying things. You're playing guitar. You're thinking about what you're playing. Are the lights on? Is the camera right? Why did my camera break? Oh, are there comments? So your brain just easily, yeah. So, okay. Are those hats still, are those hats back in stock? Like the one you have? I wanted one a while back, but they were sold out. I believe there are some black ones. I can double check after this. If there's something that you want like that is out of stock, you can email assistant@jeremysheppard.com, and that'll go to Caitlin, my assistant, and we'll get stuff. We're going to reorder. We just reordered the rad shirts this week. So yeah. Yeah. Wow. You spent several thousands of, okay. I spent several $1,000s at TAS at that acoustic shop or the acoustic shop since October. Ooh. I want to spend a couple $1,000 with them. Not a deal, but I was excited to see the Boss IR2 announcement. Yeah, man. Those things are cool. That's probably of gear of the last couple weeks. That is probably the most game-changing to me, I think. That and a power cab, or that and the Fender FR12. I mean, you're in it. Like, you've got cool amps easily. Like, yeah, you can do lots of cool stuff with that stuff. What about Lag guitars? I'm not familiar with them. Tom, he ordered one yesterday. SG Blues ordered one yesterday. Franklin guitars. Do you like it? Murphy Lab Gibson acoustics. Okay, yeah. If money was no option, that would be a guitar for sure that I would want to buy. Those would be great. TAS had an American Bourgeois for $3,800. If that's still there, someone should buy it. Yeah, I wonder what it was. Have you ever gone down to Hiddenite, North Carolina, and played any of Andy Elliott's guitars or amps? I have not. Where is that? That must be out in the mountains. Okay. Daniel asked a question way at the beginning of the show that I feel queued up to actually answer now. What is the meaning of a well-lived guitar life? Let's reverse engineer this. What makes for a meaningful life? I'm convinced that a meaningful life involves very few of the things you get in life, but almost all of the people in your life. I think a well-lived life is a life that is consequential to the life and well-being of people around you. So, Let's continue moving backwards. So if that's a meaningful life, then your guitars would probably not be about the guitars that you own, but it would be about what you played on those guitars, who you played that music with, where you played that music, how it made people feel. Abraham Kuyper, right? Abraham Kuyper has a quote. So he's like a Dutch Christian theologian. I won't get too into the weeds on this. Okay, hang on. Let me look up and see who wrote this quote. Oh, yes. Okay, never mind. This is a poem from Gerard Manley Hopkins, and it says the whole world is charged with the grandeur of God. It will flame out like shining from the shook foil. It gathers the greatness and ooze of oil. There's this idea like that the whole world is charged with potential. And so your job, a meaningful life, is that you have brought out the latent potential that is charged into the world around you. So are people better versions of themselves because of your friendship, your music, the community that you've built with your instrument? So I think, to me, that's the goal. At the end of my life, I want people to feel like they are better versions of themselves because of friendship with me and with others, the music that we got to play and share together. And so for me, that's where I'm aiming. And I don't mean to be overly spiritual in this, but I do think that it's a critical component to what we're doing here, is the idea that a consequential life is what you should aim for, that like the people that knew you, they were better for it. And so I think Oh, Andy Elliott is from Ricks County. Definitely check out his guitar's names. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys know each other. Near Hickory. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Do you own or play a bass guitar? I have owned a handful of basses in my life. I don't play bass that much. It's not that interesting to me. I most recently owned for like 2 years, and it literally never made it on the channel because I just didn't care. Owned a P bass, like a 70. Yeah, it was a 70 P bass. Just didn't care that much. Morgan is, I'm thinking about traveling multiple states to visit my friends you met through, I think traveling multiple states away to visit friends you met through guitars definitely contributes. Absolutely. Damn great quote. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, that the whole earth has been charged with potential. And the role of humans is to bring out all of the potential that is put into this world. And we know that that's true. Think about how many beautiful guitars are still trees. Like they're still in the tree somewhere. And anyway, that gets me all kinds of fired up. Oh, look at that. Yeah, there you go. Like shook foil. That's my favorite phrase from there. I'm taking this opportunity to wish everyone in the USA a Merry Christmas. Prayers and thoughts are with you. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, okay. So they say they refurbish them. So I would bet it's something in that, like, there's a huge circuit board in the Players Acoustasonics that seems like a nightmare. So I would bet it was like they just had to swap in the whole thing. Yeah. So what do you actually think about the Guild 8-string baritone? I like playing Washburn Lakeside baritone. I was thinking about buying an 8-string. I owned one of those. I liked it so much. I bought one. I owned it for about 2 years, and I gave it to a friend of mine. I really, really like it. The 8-string is fun, and it's also, it's too much at times. Like, it's not just a baritone guitar. It's a baritone that sounds like a chorus effect on it, or it's like, but yeah, overall, I really liked it. It's easier to get strings now than it was a couple of years ago. I used to have to get like custom sets every time. And yeah, so, let's see, yeah. So yeah, that's a good, man. Daniel, I'm glad you asked that question. And yeah, so I think that's where next week the plan for the live show is that we're going to do Gear of the Year, or This Year in Gear, one of those phrases. And yeah, we're going to talk about my favorite things that came out this year, my favorite guitars I own this year, what guitars I would recommend, the little bits and bobs, the accessory kind of things. Yeah. So that's a great question. Okay, here's another. I'll jump in. We'll do another couple questions. But yeah, that's where we're headed for next week. So let's see. Guitar events. Hey, Jeremy, just bought a Gibson LG2 from the 1950s. 2,500 euro is not realistic in my options, or in my opinion. Not impressed at all. I think I'll stick with my Ferk OM34. Man. Okay, I'm not super familiar with the Ferk because I only know them since they've changed to like the color series or to the rainbow series. But an LG2, I mean, man, those guitars, they're not like, you have these two guitars that are kind of contemporaries, a Martin 0018 and then the LG2 and the LG3. The Martins are better every time. Like in the 90 percentile, they're better than LG2s and LG3s. Some LG2s and 3s are magical, but some they just are a little boxy and a little small sounding. So they're not as great. So yeah. Okay. The guitar that got away, probably. Well, okay. Probably the main guitar that got away from me is my 1961 Gibson J50 that I sold. Sold it to a guy in Seattle when I was living in New Orleans. I shipped it, and a couple years later, I called him, and I was like, hey, do you still have that guitar? I would love to buy it back when we were in a different financial place. And he told me that, he's like, oh, I only had that for a couple weeks. I sold it. I like almost doubled my money. Like, thanks, man. I was like, hey, do you know who you sent it to? He's like, no, I just sold it to some guy off Facebook Marketplace. And so it just was gone, just into the wind. And so, yeah, I don't. Yeah. Yep. That's one that definitely got away. The other one that I wish I would have kept, which it came back, I had the option to buy it back, but it's just too much money, was the custom shop Martin D42 with the wild grain East Indian and the Carpathian spruce on the top. That guitar was so good. I wish I could have kept it. So basically, I couldn't keep it at the amount I had in it, which was like $400. And then I sold it for noticeably more than that. And then the guy who was selling it wanted it back basically at that price. And I just couldn't swing it. So yeah, that was deep, dude. Thanks. Yeah, that's how my brain works. I feel like a philosopher deep down. That's where I'm trying to figure out the world, figure out people in life. So have you played the new Martin multi-pedal? If you're talking about the Tone Master Pro, I have not. I think I'm into it. That amp I played just for a couple minutes at the front of this video is the Tone Master Deluxe Reverb. I've used it pretty much every single day I've owned it. It's a really, really remarkable thing. And I think I want to make a video about it again. So yeah. What is your favorite non-Fender or Fender style electric? I mean, I really like Novo guitars. I've never had an opportunity to own one. They hold their value so well. I don't know if they'll do that for the long term, but I really like their necks. I also, the Galazo, the luthier from Argentina, from Buenos Aires. The Galazo that I had was remarkably good. Had a goofy headstock. That's what everybody didn't like about it, but I thought that guitar was perfect. Yeah, love it. I would also say other Fender style or non-Fender builders, brothers, the Frank brothers. Yeah, the Frank brothers one they're just so good. I'm not a huge humbucker guy, and most of their guitars seem to be humbuckers, but I think I'm figuring out what I like in humbuckers. I like the not ridiculous humbuckers, the ones that are like more tame, lower output. Some of the original PAFs are more my style. I don't like shrill. I don't like fizzy. I like a really organic overdrive that like all of the frequencies seem to overdrive at the same rate, not just getting fizzy and then you have kind of a clean guitar tone with this like fizzy thing over top. Love this chat. Was thinking about acoustic bass. Do you have any ideas? I don't know. Acoustic basses are fine. It does. Every time I see someone playing an acoustic bass, I wonder if they're playing like an MTV Unplugged or VH1 Unplugged, or if they're a pop punk band doing an acoustic, like an Unplugged album. Yeah. Those are the worst. I had a Taylor W10 CE that I wish I could get back. Okay, the FERC OM34 is the older brother's more narrow neck profiles. Greeting from Croatia. Man, amazing. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I have played, is it the S22, I believe, was like the cedar top, rosewood back and sides. I've played a couple of those, and they're great. I saw it. I have not gotten anything back. I just texted the Martin artist rep, and I don't know anything yet. But when I know things, if I have not signed a piece of paper saying I don't know things or won't talk about things, I will tell you. Yeah, that one might be a good thing. Like, I love Martin guitars. I have prioritized my life to own Martin guitars. And I need to own more. And I need to, well, I only own one right now. Shameful. I was going to ask about emotional attachment to instruments like that. Last guitar I sold, I regretted so much that I bought it back. Yeah, man, I don't get that a whole lot. Every now and then I get it, and I would say, like, when in doubt, trust your gut. I sold my Guild S200 twice, and I have tried to buy it back twice, and I have an opportunity to buy it back. I guess I would. This would be the third time. Yeah, there's something that makes me not keep it. That's the bigger thing in my head. But yeah. So I think you have to be careful, like, being too emotional about too much guitar. Like, which guitars get to keep you up at night, you know? Yeah. Seems like Novos are having trouble keeping up with demand right now. I hope they can catch up after a while and prices become more obtainable. Yeah, man, they've just I think they have a lot. I think losing Matt was a big deal, because Matt is just he's the king of hype and cool stuff, and it's a bummer that it's the best news in the world for Mythos. But yeah, I like what Novo's doing. To me, like, is it the Miras T? I like that body shape, or maybe it's the Saris. I can't keep them straight. But like a Telly bridge and a P90 in the neck would be kind of the thing for me. Probably in one of your D18s, sure. $800. I'll buy any D18 you have for $800. Okay, $1,400. Any love for Matins? Not really. I've played a whole lot of them. They are beautiful, but they are I don't know. They just end up in a place that is not the music I want to make or the music I want to listen to. Yeah. Yes. You own the best mahogany Martin they make now. That's true. That's my thing, is like, I love mahogany guitars and I own the best one they make. The only thing I would tweak, and if I would get another one, I would get an OM18. Something with mahogany back and sides. I love the sound of the MTV Martin, but I could not get past carrying the MTV logo to where that's funny. That's true. How do I like my my D18 37? I really love it. It stays in my house, in my dining room. When we do morning and evening prayer, that's the guitar I play. When I come home from work and I've been in a guitar shop all day, that's the guitar I still want to play. I have that. I have 3 instruments in the house. I have the D18, the authentic. I have my 57 Country Western, and then I have my Northfield mandolin from Mr. Tom Hampton. And so those are my 3. Like, if I have somebody come over and they want to play guitar or mandolin, that's what we're playing, like some mix of the 3 of those. So yeah, that is my favorite. Yeah. Tim, do you have a favorite travel or salon guitar? My favorite travel guitar is the Ferk Little Jane. It fits in a backpack. It went with me thousands and thousands of miles this year. I'm going to make a video. I filmed the first chunk of the video along the way as I've done this thing. But yeah, so that's my favorite travel guitar. Behind that, the Orangewood, the Oliver Jr., I'm kind of torn on this. I have like 2 radical extremes. Either it needs to be like, the Ferk is like a little too nice. I'm like, It's an all solid wood guitar that's in a backpack that could get squashed. I had one of my kids like stood on it, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I was so concerned that it was just going to crunch this thing. So it is a travel guitar that you can take anywhere with you, but it is still like, it freaks me out a little bit. The other end of this I love are like, it just needs to be totally replaceable. It needs to be just like a good sounding guitar that I can get for $200, $300. And so that's like the Orangewood Oliver Jr. Big fan of that one because it's just fun and reliable and replaceable. Building a D15 at the moment. Good work. I love D15s. What are your favorite tuners for acoustic guitars? You mean like tuner keys? Waverleys or Grovers. The Waverleys are such a better experience to own them, but they've gotten really, really pricey. I'm about to do a video. My favorite tuners in the universe, I think, are on my Ferk Vintage 2OM. Let me grab this and I'll show you. These are the titanium. These are the titanium ones. And so they're golden, and they are so cool. And so that's my Ferk Vintage 2. I love this guitar. So if you're not talking about tuners, you might be talking about like electric. Oh, don't drop it. Don't drop it. If you're talking about guitar tuners inside of a guitar, these are pretty awesome. Come on, turn on. Even though the moment. Oh, this battery's so low. I should swap that out. But these little Diodario inside tuners, they go just inside the sound hole. Love those. So, will I remember that guitar's on the floor behind me before I whip my chair back? Oh, please remember. Views on neck width. Really like. I like 1 3/4. I'm not that picky. 1 11/16 after years of playing 1 3/4. 1 11/16 is a little scrunchy, but it depends on what I'm playing. Some strummy stuff like my boxwood over here that you can. Yeah, my boxwood is an 1 11/16. Oh, sorry, that's a wild. No image stabilization on that thing. But yeah. Why does Eastman call their triple O an OM? All triple O's are technically are all triple O's technically orchestra model. I know the E40 OM and all the other Eastman OMs are 24.9 inch, and the Martin scale length is a triple O. Yes. Eastman does not. If you are saying technically what historically an OM has been, yeah, it is absolutely, you're absolutely right. A triple O is a short scale length and the bigger pick guard. And then Eastman makes all of their OMs with a shorter scale length, but the OM pick guard. And so, yeah, none of them are the full scale length. So to me, an OM is more usable because it feels more like a dread and you can dig into it like a dread. So that's what I would do. Thoughts on Elliott capos? I admire the amount of work it takes to make one of those, but I cannot get over, like, I am frugal above all things. No audio. Again? Are you here? I'm back. We can kind of hear him. What happened? Hello? I see the sign over there. It's this cable. Son of a gun. Okay. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's a faulty cable. I gotta fix it. Okay, let's do this, and then this will be kind of where we end, because it will be, there's a little bit of an update going on here. Evan, 10 out of 10 would do it. So, my turn is up at Nathan Wright, guitar built, thinking about a Maple J45 style. Thoughts? Yes, do it. That is, I'm in the process with Nathan of building out. We're gonna make a custom model for me, and then I'm gonna promote it. We're gonna try and sell a couple of them. And so for me, that's where I'm leaning, is like a J45 with, I haven't told Nathan any of this, like a J45 with maple back and sides, and then maybe a black top or something cool. We haven't talked about any of this. He knows none of this. But my maple Nathan Wright went to Billy, and Billy's the man, and I'm so glad that it worked out, but it's a guitar that I wish I could have kept. But lots of details all aligned to where that guitar went somewhere, another guitar went to me, and then I got a guitar and somebody got a guitar, and it was this like whole hodgepodge of a thing where it's like, well, I owe Billy an entire guitar, and that's what he wants, and I don't have the cash to buy him out. So, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry we lost the audio. Yeah, it's whenever I touch this microphone, so I won't. Okay. Maple is way easier to work with. You don't have to do any pore fill. So Nathan has said that he prefers that because it saves him like 2 days of work on it. So, yeah. Did you burst yours? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, well, that's all I got for today. Thanks for bearing with me, and thanks for just hanging out doing changing it up. So I hope you all have a great weekend, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. It's still, I've gained like 1,000 subscribers this month, but I think overall it's still like, I think it's 91% of people that watch 89% of people that watch my videos are not subscribed. So it's only about 11%. Hey, Caleb. Guys, Caleb Zimmerman is the freaking man, and he made the coolest, can you see that back there? That maple guitar stand. It is so good. And, yeah. Caleb, you're awesome. Thanks for making that. That's all I got. So Rasmus, I cannot wait. Rasmus built a guitar for me that I'm so excited to get. And so we're moving on that. I'm going to finish paying for it. Not the Air R laundry, but yeah, so I'm super excited to get my guitar from Rasmus. And that one I'm so excited to show that one to you. It's all of the things, like if someone, all those questions that you asked earlier today, like if you could get any guitar, what would you get? It's the one that's coming from Rasmus. So I'm super excited. So, all right. Thanks for hanging out. Bye everybody. Have a good weekend. And, I'm Jeremy. You are, a guitar hunter, and you got a job to do. Go fill the world with music and friendship, and the whole world is charged with potential. Love that. So thanks for hanging out. Go be a keeper of the light. See ya.